to do. Hey, that appealed to you, won't it? You say, oh yeah, I like that God. Oh yeah. But when you make up your mind to do what God say do, you got to get, you see, the false gods give you a whole lot of leniency to do what you want to do. But the real God, you got to toe the line. Jesus said you got to go the straight and narrow, right? So you got to get away from all of your own lust. So that's what Easter come from, Esther. The goddess, you honoring a goddess, the goddess of fertility. That's what this is. That's why Paul said the Gentiles sacrifice. He said they call themselves honoring a God, but they don't know no better. He said they sacrifice to devils and not to God. And what else? Finish verse 20.
And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils.
He said, I don't want you to do it. Now some people say, well, can't I do both? Well, look, obviously you couldn't do both today. You had to make up your mind whether you're going to celebrate Easter or be here with us celebrating the Feast of Unleavened Bread. I told you we was going to serve Easter a little bit, but I mean in a bad way. You had to make up your mind, right? So what he said, 21.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
So Paul gave the answer, right? You can't do both. People say, oh, it don't matter. As long as you call on the Lord. Paul said it do matter, didn't it? That's what the Feast of Unleavened Bread is teaching you. It do matter. That's why the title is Beware of the Leaven. False doctrine. False teaching. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Go ahead.
You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and the table of devils.
You got to make up your mind, don't you? Now let's back up to the 5th chapter. 1 Corinthians 5. And we almost done. 1 Corinthians 5. 1 Corinthians 5, we're going to pick it up at verse 6 and wrap this up. Go ahead.
Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leavens the whole lump? See, that's what we dealt with yesterday. We dealt with some specific little things that'll get you in big trouble. Because that's what this feast is showing you, that you got to get rid of all the leavening. See, we got a lot of little quirks that we have to get rid of. See, what we talking about today, that's the big worldwide quirk. That people are not paying attention to what the Lord wants them to do and doing what the devil then fooled them into doing. But it can be something little that can stumble you as well. That's what really messed a lot of people up. That's why we dealt with that yesterday. You know ye not that a little leaven leavens the whole lump. That's why to take a little yeast, you put it in some meal, and all of a sudden it'll be all puffed up. Well, he's telling you, look, you can't go for the puffed up doctrine or teaching, for the stuff that's contrary to God. So what you got to do? Verse 7. Purge out therefore the old leaven.
Oh, Paul talking about purge out the old leaven, right? That's what we did this week, but that has great spiritual implications. Go ahead.
That ye may be a new lump.
Oh, we got to be new when we come to the Lord. Like Israel was new when they left Egypt. They was brand new. All they had to do is listen and get the instructions from the Lord. That's all they had to do from then on. He said that ye may be a new lump. As what?
As ye are unleavened.
Oh, we supposed to be unleavened, right? Uncut. We supposed to get away from the filtered doctrine, the watered down word of God, the leavened up word of God. We supposed to get away from that because that's you didn't distorted the truth. Easter is a great distortion of the truth. You saying it's about Jesus, but really it's not. I say it all the time. You can take a Cadillac emblem, and 200 years from now, only somebody who got some understanding of the Cadillac and the Volkswagen would know what you did. You can take a Cadillac emblem and put it on a Volkswagen and be riding around, beep, beep. Look at my caddy, man. And if don't nobody know the difference, you will fool them. But somebody with an old picture of a Cadillac and a Volkswagen, they would come and say, man, there ain't no caddy. You just got the emblem on there. So they didn't put Jesus' name on stuff that ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. But now, he said, purge out the old leaven that ye may be a new lump as ye are unleavened. How did you get the chance to be unleavened? Go ahead.
For even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us.
Oh, it didn't call him our Good Friday, did it? Didn't say nothing about Good Friday or Easter, did it? Didn't say nothing about the bunny. You got a bunny that people talk about, the Easter. What do that got? I mean, what does that got to do with Jesus? Come on, somebody got to explain that to me. But it got something to do with fertility. Easter eggs, bunny rabbits. Don't have nothing to do with Jesus. See, they done pulled the oldest trick in the book. It's called 3-card Molly. They done told you they going to show you about Jesus, and when you turned your back, they gave you another little book. That's why the preachers telling you stuff can't read it out the Bible, though. They had to come up with another book for that. So he said, look, for even Christ, you mean Christ is our Passover? That's right. That's what gave us the right, the opportunity to be unleavened. That's why we've been keeping the Feast of Unleavened Bread, because it started with Christ dying. We celebrated that last Saturday night, and now we conclude this great feast, the Feast of Unleavened Bread today. For even Christ, our Passover, that's who he is, right? According to Paul in the New Testament, was sacrificed for us. Read verse 8.
Therefore let us keep the feast.
See, once Christ became your Passover, you got the right to keep the feast now. Therefore let us keep the feast. How are we going to do it?
Not with old leaven.
Not with Easter and false doctrine that people have been worshiping for centuries, even before Christ. They honored the mother with the baby. Don't you know that? They had the Madonna. They've been honoring a mother with baby. That's why they got pictures of a mother with baby. That ain't even got nothing to do with Jesus. Yeah, I mean, he was a baby at one time. That ain't got nothing to do with him. The Lord didn't say paint no picture of a mother with a baby and honor his mother. Didn't say that, did he? He didn't say pray to his mother. You know, they got all kind of foolishness. Well, pray to his mother. She can talk to the son. Look, his mother is dead. She can't talk at all. He at the right hand. He at the right hand. She got to wait. She going to be okay in the resurrection, but she got to wait on that like everybody else. But all of this stuff, they say, well, Mary was a perpetual virgin, so, that's why we worship her. And you pray to her, Hail Mary, Mother of God. Give me a break. She can't help you. Jesus said, pray to the Father in my name, period, right? Ain't never told you to pray to nobody else. But people got that twisted. So he said, therefore, let us keep the feast. How? Not with what?
Not with old leaven.
We got to get rid of the old leaven, right? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
We got to get rid of the leaven of malice and wickedness. What we doing with then?
But with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
But with the unleavened bread of sincerity. That's what this feast is teaching us. It's one way and one way only that we got to worship and serve God. Well, Matthew 16. Matthew 16. Matthew 16. And we're going to pick it up at verse 6. This is the final message concerning this. Jesus made it clear. In Matthew 16, we got two more scriptures, but they kind of just add on. Matthew 16 and verse 6. Go ahead.
Then Jesus said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
See, so I'm not wrong telling you to beware of the leaven either, right? That's the title of the lesson. Beware of the leaven. But you need to understand what that means. That's why I added false doctrine, right? But I'm not wrong in telling you that. Jesus wants you to know that, don't he? That's what this feast is teaching you. Not only do you got to eat unleavened bread, pay attention to exactly what the Lord is saying and do that. You got to avoid the leavening. It's going to be plenty lies. That's the hardest thing, getting to the Lord. You got to get past the lies sometime. You got to get past all this lies and deception. That's why the first thing we read, Jesus said what? Beware of false prophets. Now he said beware again, right? What did he say? Beware. Read it again.
Take heed and beware of leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
Oh, these were the religious leaders who ran things. So it's just like if I said today, take heed and beware of the leaven of the preachers and imams and all of these people, the reverends and doctors, beware of their leaven. Go ahead, verse 7.
And they reasoned among themselves, saying, it is because we have taken no bread.
See, they thought it was about literal bread, just like you shouldn't think this feast is about literal bread. This bread that we eating and not eating for 7 days is a great sign of spiritual bread. Go ahead.
Which when Jesus received, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves?
Go ahead.
Because ye have brought no bread. Do ye yet not understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets ye took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets ye took up?
See, Jesus basically said, look, how y'all think I'm tripping off some literal bread? I made that appear out of thin air. I did miracles to bring bread. You think I'm worried about some literal bread? Just like I tell people about here. If you come here, you should contribute something to make this feast happen. But even if you didn't know, even if you didn't bring nothing, that's the least of your worries, is worrying about getting some physical food here today. We got plenty of physical food. It's can you stomach the spiritual food. We got plenty of other food, so you ain't got to worry about all you got to do. If you didn't bring no food today, just let me or one of the other brothers know we got plenty of food for you to eat. Well, that ain't even no problem on our agenda. So, but Jesus was telling them basically the same thing. I ain't worried about no physical food. Verse 11.
How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees?
Now here go the key line. But what then?
Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
Ah, but of the teaching. That's what this feast is teaching us, isn't it? We got to eat the Lord's teaching and follow that. We can't follow traditions of men. We got to eat the Lord's doctrine and only eat the unleavened bread and leave the leavening behind. Deuteronomy 16. Deuteronomy 16. That's when he mentioned this day that we celebrated, which is actually the seventh day. See, God didn't give you all this for no reason. He gave you great messages in what he wants you to do. Then he said you can have a good time. God don't even mind you having a good time. That's a good God, isn't it? Matter of fact, like I said yesterday, God party us under the table. Because people be wore out. That's why y'all glad I was late today, because I know everybody else is going to be late. God said feast 7 days. You on day 3, you be like, whoa, man, I'm tired. God will party you under the table. He don't mind you party, but when he tells you to party, he wants you to honor him at these times. He don't mind you partying at other times either, as long as you ain't sinning and honoring some false god. That's when you getting on his nerve, which is sin. But you know Jesus don't mind partying. Like I said yesterday, he was at a wedding one time, and they ran out of wine. The man made some more wine. Like one comedian said, he kept the party going. All right, I'm going to do this for y'all. But now, Deuteronomy 16, I'm going to finish up so we can get to a little partying too. Deuteronomy 16 and verse 8. Go ahead.
6 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread.
See? 6 days. It started last Monday or Sunday night, really. 6 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread. Go ahead.
And on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work therein.
See? We are here on this day, the 7th day. It's the final one. So you had to have a meeting on this day. See, we didn't have to have a meeting on day 6 or day 5. We met yesterday because day 6 of this feast happened to be the 7th day of the week, which we always meet on that. But day 5, we didn't have to have a meeting. Day 4, we didn't have to have a meeting. Day 3, we didn't have to have a meeting. Day 2, we didn't have to have a meeting. We just feast among ourselves, right? You know, we went over people's house one night, and sometimes we were just too tired to even do it. We just ate at home. But still, he gave you, we had to meet on day 1, which was Sunday, he told you, and we met today. We meeting today, which is the 7th day, right? He said, you have a solemn assembly. See, that's what this is. And that's why before we get to any feasting or anything like that, we're going to get into the word. And that's what we have done, right? But now skip down to verse 16, because he told you something else.
3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose.
He gonna name them too. This is the first time though.
In the feast of unleavened bread.
See, that's this feast. He got 3 major feasts where you come together and enjoy yourself. Now, we can't make it to Jerusalem, which is the place, but that's gonna be fixed when Jesus comes. He gonna fix it right where everybody left that he don't kill at Armageddon. They gonna be doing this. They ain't gonna be doing the stuff that other people partaking in today. They're going to do what the Bible say. But now he said 3 times in a year all your males appear before the Lord thy God in a place where he shall choose. Go ahead.
And in the feast of unleavened bread. And in the feast of weeks.
Now feast of weeks is Pentecost, because it takes 7 weeks to get to the 50th day. Pentecost means 50. Paul was keeping that. I could have read that when we was in Acts 20. That's Acts 20 verse 16. He observed that after he left Philippi, keeping the days of unleavened bread. And what else?
And in the Feast of Tabernacles.
That's the one at the end of the year, in the fall. We just got through keeping that 5 months ago. Go ahead.
And they shall not appear before the Lord empty.
Now, it's amazing that preachers done away with all this, but they find any verse that talk about you bringing some money, and they'll throw that in there. I mean, I've seen them turn the most likely verses into trying to get money out of people. So I've seen them read something like this, see? They come here, that's all they would have read the whole day. And they see what it says. Wait a minute now, watch it. Watch it. Like they really telling you, watch it now. Read that again. They shall not appear before the Lord empty. So make sure you bring something. That's all they want. Go ahead. And they read verse 17 too. Go ahead.
And every man shall give as
See, you got to give. Oh, they give you to death, won't they? They, you know, before you get out, they're going to say the usher's coming around. He said, every man shall give as he is able. Why you just going to take that, but you're going to leave all the other things that he's saying behind, like the feast and the dietary law? If you're going to take tithes out of the law, you need to take the other stuff. We collect tithes here, but we tell people don't eat swine. We tell people to keep these feasts because it's all in the law, right? And the law is holy. So he said, look, every man shall give as he is able. So that's all you got to do to make this happen. You can only do what you can do to make it happen, and the Lord going to bless the rest. Go ahead.
According to the blessings of the Lord thy God, which he hath given.
Okay, Deuteronomy 14, and we're going to wrap it up. I got a little long-winded, but that happened. Even though we started late, we still ending pretty good. Deuteronomy 14. Deuteronomy 14, verse 22. See, they grab this one on you. They grab this one, but they still ain't going to tell you don't know nothing about what the Lord wants you to do except get a preacher some money. And the Lord don't want you to do that because he said in Isaiah 55, why pay your money for that which is not bread? Why would you give a man some money and he ain't showed you nothing about God? Matter of fact, he's showing you how to commit suicide. He ain't showing you how to save yourself. Get out of the sinking boat. He ain't showing you that. He on the shores. He's standing on the shore, so he think, well, he on the boat too. He about to drown too. He don't know it. But he telling you, give me your money and I'm going to save you. Give me your money. And he get the money and he sail on off. And you going down with the ship. But now, 14 and 22. Go ahead.
Thou shalt truly tithe all thy increase of thy seed.
Well, where you at with tithes? But see, even the tithes help make this feast possible. See, that's why people pay tithe. That's why we contribute and have things, make sure people have food for the feast. Even if you don't have nothing. He said, ye shall truly tithe all the increase of thy seed. What?
That the field bringeth forth year by year.
Because this had a hand in this as well. What?
And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there.
See, that place is Jerusalem. Now, of course, we can't make it there, but we can do the best we can here, right? Paul couldn't make it all the time. He was much closer than us. He tried. You read Acts again, verse 20. Verse 6, he stayed in Philippi for unleavened bread because he obviously knew he couldn't make it. But verse 16, he said, I'm hustling. I must by all means make it to Jerusalem, the Feast of Pentecost. He was trying to make it. In the 18th chapter of Acts, verse 18 through 21, he was telling people, I'm trying to make it to Jerusalem to keep the feast. That was tabernacle. Even though it don't say time of year, let me know it was tabernacle. So anyway, he tried when he could, but we can only do what we can do. Lord, understand that. He said, just do your best, right? He said, thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. Go ahead.
The tithe of thy corn, and of thy wine, and of thy oil, and of the firstlings of thy herds, and of thy flock, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God.
So it wouldn't be nothing wrong. Instead of, even if you don't take some of your tithes, instead of putting it here, because we don't care about your money anyway. It wouldn't be nothing wrong for you to use that to buy stuff for the feast with it. According to this with it. Because that's a part of your service to God. But ain't no other preacher going to tell you that. Know why? Because he want all the money. But this is what he said, right? He said, thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God. Where he said, at the place we shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of thy corn and wine and thine oil and first of thy herds and flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. So even the tithes played a part in that. That's why we contribute and make things. That's why we buy calendars to give to people. Because the tithes is about serving God. But now verse 24, and we're almost done.
And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far for thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God have blessed thee.
See, this when Israel was all in the land, but go ahead.
Then shalt thou turn it into money, and bind up the money in thy hand, and shall go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. Okay, so now he didn't give you no out. He said, you might say, well, I can't take all my cattle and stuff all the way. I'm too far from there. He said, that's okay. Just sell your stuff and take the money and go to that place. So it really wasn't no excuse. Then do what when you get to that place? And this is it, verse 26. And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
See, now you can enjoy yourself, but this is to honor the Lord, right? This is not the past anniversary. This is a feast to honor the Lord for his goodness and his mercy. He said, you bestow that money for whatsoever your soul lusted after. That's within God's guidelines, though, right? So if you lust for some shrimp or something, you won't do that because you know that's unclean. You know pork is unclean. And he ain't going to give you that luxury. So he said, so that's within guidelines, but he said whatsoever, right? He going to even give you some examples of whatsoever. What? For oxen, go ahead.
Or for sheep.
Or for sheep, go ahead.
Or for wine.
Oh, even for wine. See, God wants you to enjoy yourself. See, I don't drink wine except on the Passover, but I can't teach people that drinking wine is a sin. It's only a sin when you go overboard like we have a tendency to do in a lot of things. That's when it's a sin when you become a drunkard. But to drink wine can't be a sin. He was telling you to sin right here, wasn't he? Then people start lying and say, well, it really wasn't wine. It was grape juice. You a lie. It was wine. It was real wine. If you drink enough of it, you would get drunk and fall out. He know what he's talking about. It was wine. People just make up stuff. Oh, see, it wasn't ferment. Read that to me in the Bible. It wasn't, it was grape juice. Look, if that was grape juice, tell me what this was. Go ahead.
Or for strong drink.
Or for strong drink. We know what strong drink is. That's stronger than wine, right? We call it what? Whiskey. That's what that is. What was that? Orange juice back then? Then what was orange juice then? What was grape juice? Nah, it was wine. It was whiskey. They drank it and it wasn't no sin, or else Jesus helped them sin when he turned water into wine. So he don't mind you enjoying yourself as long as you don't go overboard. So just in case you weren't used to that and you see somebody drinking some wine here, don't think there's something wrong with it. Say, they drinking wine in church. I'll be and just storm out of here. No, this is what the Bible say, right? So we not out of line. As long as don't nobody get out of hand, because I got some big brothers around here that can toss you out if you get out of hand, drink too much. So he said, look, you shall, for whatsoever your soul lusteth after, wine, strong drink, or what else?
Or for whatsoever thy soul desire.
Whatsoever your soul desire, go ahead.
And thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God. And thou shalt rejoice.
You and who else?
Thou and thine household.
That's what we get ready to do. I hope you got some understanding in Jesus' name.